So here's what I want. Here's what I want to happen for today. I told you folks a few minutes ago before James spoke. I said I'm going to have a little call to Jesus meeting right now, and I want pledges right now. I want a pledge from every single one of you who wants to make money on the net, and I trust that that's every single one of you, that you will use these articles. Don't stack them up. Don't treat them like old newspapers. This is gold. This is pure money. Will you use them? Will you use if once a week is what you decide to use them, then use them once a week. I mean, that's your decision. James would use them every 5 minutes if there was that much copy. The bottom line is, will you all do this? Will you use them, first of all? Will you collect the responses and post them in the Live Business Center? Will you collect the responses and, first of all, invite the people to call you? They don't always have to just email people. Like to pick up the phone and call you and say, James, I read your article. I want to know what you can help me with. And James will say, goody. And that's a lead that waltzed in the door. That's the best kind of lead that ever there was. Right. And you're getting them. And would you then invite the people to come into the Live Business Center? Will you do that? You see, if you won't do this, you cut at the taproot my desire to do this, you see. If you say, oh, yeah, I'd like content, don't kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. Encourage the goose. Feed the goose. Pet the goose. Love the goose. Don't kill the goose. All right, are we all together on this? And James, I'm going to allow you to say whatever you want to say to motivate these people to use this stuff. Use it every day. Use it in the way in which he said. Be creative about the use of it. The more you use it, the more we see how good it is, the more you're inspiring me to do it. Got it? This is important.
Well, I think of the story. I think of the story you shared yesterday, where you said that you had made a decision to publish 20 books, and you're kind of at the point at 18 where you're not too sure. I mean, there's a lot of other things that you could be doing right now. You've made your millions, and you've got a lot of interests and passions, and you could be spending your time, reviewing auction catalogs instead of writing articles. And I recognize that, and I appreciate your making the decision to do both. I think that when George persuaded you to come back and start creating content again, it was really a gift to all of us. And when I first started thinking about utilizing your articles, I didn't expect what's happened in terms of the response. It's beyond what I expected. And now, I guess we get a little bit spoiled. Now I've come to the point where I expect it. I expect that there's going to be traffic. I expect that when I republish one of your articles and go back into KStats, that I'm going to see a spike in my visitors. But I think it's a matter of just deciding wherever you start right now. If you're brand new and you feel like this is a little bit over your head, some of the things that we've talked about, then go back to just the basics. Go into the money makers section, go into the article marketing kit, and simply just copy and paste the information to your blog. If you just get that done, then that's better than nothing. And after you become comfortable with that, then just go to the next step and begin to do things that are a little bit more creative. If you've been around here for a while and you've got blogs, then take the time, because you've got the skills to do it, and go ahead and do something a little bit unique. Whether it's writing your own introductions, whether it's the way you publish it or redistribute it, whatever it is, you can make that decision for yourself. But use this stuff and give it time. It's not going to be in 2 weeks you're going to see loads of traffic coming in from it, but if you do it for 3 months, you're going to be surprised at what ends up happening. And the other thing that's starting to happen now for me, and this will happen for you as well, is I refer back to some of these blogs now. When I'm writing a blog article about something, I can now go back to a reposting of one of Dr. Lant's articles from 6 weeks ago and bring that into a blog article that I'm writing. And here again, it just becomes another layer, because people see that, yeah, this is definitely not someone who's at the surface level. They've got depth in their subject. And you do that by creating a backlog of articles. You guys who saw Dr. Lant's interview on Nesson will recall that he was able to go back to an article that he had written regarding the Betty Windsor and the canceling of the Christmas party. If he wouldn't have written that article, he couldn't have done that. That was in his arsenal. And he's given us all 60 now articles that are easy for us to access. And it's not for his benefit that you're doing this. It's for your own benefit. It's going to benefit everyone, right? Because the more that's out there positive about world profit, the better it is for all of us. But you are the one at the end of the day that's going to get the most benefit from it, from the people that read your blogs, from the traffic you gain from it, and ultimately from the associates that you sign up. Because bottom line, people work with people they know, like, and trust. And if you have just a link out there, or you have an article republished out there with nothing connected to you, you're not furthering that for yourself. Take that extra step, make this thing part of you, and you'll benefit from it for months and years to come. These articles will be here forever. Those index pages will be out there somewhere. So
I want to speak to that for a second, because what people are getting here is not second-rate, baked-over pablum. This stuff is unique. It's unique, and people know something unique from something that's second-rate. They know. They sense the quality right away.
yes,
I wanted to also tell you something about what I write. What I write is a unique mixture of current events, political insights, history, humor, cynicism, dissection, and motivation. It's all part of it's all a kind of a formula that exists in this head. And I didn't know, one of the things that has surprised me, just like James, we didn't know what these articles were going to do because it had never happened like this before. But now, once we began to see what they were going to do, there was the impulse to do more. It made sense to do more. And if you want to, and we have these writing classes in the mornings from sometimes 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 times a week. They're informal, but you can watch me creating the content. In other words, you can watch. It would be like watching Picasso paint a picture. He would say, "I'm putting this brush here. I'm putting this brush here." You can watch me as I move the words along and change the words, because what distinguishes my prose is it is a rapier sharp, diamond sharp thrust right at the solar plexus, right in the heart of the issue. Whether I'm talking about an archbishop, or I'm talking about the pope, or I'm talking about the president, you're not getting pablum. You're getting an intelligent person saying intelligent things about a matter of importance. Somebody asked me the other day, why do I write about the Pope? Why? Because it's a 2,000-year-old institution in trouble, and I don't want the papacy to go down. I want it to be strong. Not because I'm Catholic, but because I'm human. And that's why I do these things. I do these things because I personally believe that these commentaries are correct and that they will help people all over the world. But you have got to be the people that encourage me. If you don't post those comments on the Live Business Center every day, you're saying, I don't care. If you don't send those articles out on a regular basis, you're saying, I don't need those things. And you do. You see, you gotta congratulate George Koch. He understood long before. He probably understood at the same time Bill Gates understood. Content is king. You can't have an internet without good content. You just can't have a bunch of ads. Ads aren't enough. You gotta have things that engage the human mind. So this is what I'm doing. And one of the things that I've been very grateful about, I really learned about from myself, was how well I'm writing. You've got to understand this stuff is brilliant. And I mean, I'm not trying to be falsely modest. I'm telling you the truth. This stuff is stuff you can't find anywhere else. And the only kind of a person who could write this kind of stuff would have to be highly educated, would have to have available time, would not need the money, would have to be well off. You'd have to either be very poor to do this, or you'd have to be very rich. You have to be so poor that another drop of poverty wouldn't matter, or so rich that you could say what you wanted to say in the way you wanted to say it, and be absolutely clear that you were a person who had something important to say, and you were saying it in an important and gifted way. And that's the way it is. So I'm relying on all of you now. You are the audience of, well, I'm going to call you the second audience. The first audience is me. James Holmes, he's audience 1.5, and then there's the rest of you. You're going to do this. Now, for example, we have a timed article that was just posted yesterday by Sandy, the Christmas article. Just like the major silver companies or the major China companies of the world, they produce a special thing for Christmas, a special China pattern, a special piece of silver, a special piece of crystal. I produce a Christmas article. This article, I already know, gets an extremely heartfelt response. Run with it. That Christmas article is about something important, but it's also about delivering thousands of leads to us. And make sure you follow up with these people. They want to be a part of this. They're taking the time, and I'm very moved by that comment of that Florida lady about her daughter. That touched her heart. And she read it with great clarity and great sincerity. That's what this is all about. And now she needs to come in with us into this community. In other words, that's where we're going with this, and we're it's going to happen. So James, I want to thank you for coming on board today and sharing this. As usual, we will all be looking forward to what you dream up next. As I've often said, I write it today, James publishes it tomorrow. Or maybe I ought to change that. Maybe say I write it today, James publishes it today. And everybody, let's go back to the live.
And as it will be.
And,
thank you.
As it will be, it'll be very good. Thank you, everybody. And I want to see lots of postings this afternoon and lots of new people in the community.